Good morning, gamers. I'm Luck, and I recently watched Delicious in Dungeon, and holy damn, was it good! I mean, it's been quite a while since I've actually seen an anime that I can call perfect, but let me tell you, this anime was perfect. But what is it that makes Delicious in Dungeon such an incredible anime? Well, we should probably go over the basic plot first. Uh, the story takes place in a fantasy world. It's a fantasy anime. Think Dungeons and Dragons. There's different races, there's monsters, there's magic, all your classic fantasy shenanigans, all that good stuff. And we follow Leos, who is a swordsman and a tall man, so he's just a human. And we follow him and his ragtag team of adventurers who adventure in this dungeon. The reason for them actually being in the dungeon is to save one of their old party members who got eaten by a red dragon. That sounds crazy, because it is. But this old party member just so happens to be Leo's sister too, which is a notable fact. It's important to actually mention that. There's a problem. They fought this red dragon, almost died. They managed to escape because Leo's sister uses magic to teleport them out, yada yada yada. Problem being, they're broke. They're brokies. And just to rub salt in the wound, half of his party leaves. So now he's broke and half of his party is gone, but he's still in luck because he has two party members left. Those two party members being Marcel the elf and Chilter the half-foot. And these three adventurers basically go into the dungeon for a last-ditch effort to try and save Leo's sister. But need I remind you, there's still the problem of them being broke. So the only way they'll actually be able to accomplish this is by eating the monsters in the dungeon and pretty much just living off the land because they don't have enough money to actually buy food and supplies for the dungeon. This is when they meet the lovable dwarf Senshi, who just so happens to be an expert in cooking monsters, and he basically decides to join the party and teach them the ways of cooking monsters and living in the dungeon. And this is basically the party we follow for pretty much most of the story, at least in the beginning of the anime. So that's the basic plot, but hearing this, do you think it's a masterpiece? Do you think it sounds perfect? No, of course not, because there's way more to this anime than I thought it would be. At first I thought it was just a gag. You know, it's just funny humor. Hell's Kitchen meets Dungeons and Dragons. Hee hee ha ha. But there's way more, and the way they pull off everything in the anime is mind-blowing, honestly. Now, with that said, don't get me wrong, the anime is definitely hilarious. The humor is on point. But what makes this anime really stand out is the characters and the world building itself, and especially the way they pull this off. We start off knowing absolutely nothing about the world, about the dungeons itself, and about the characters. This is the reason why when I first started watching it, I first thought, okay, this is just a funny gag anime, I'm probably gonna enjoy it. But as the story unfolds, we naturally start to learn more and more about the cast and the world in an amazing way. Because we often learn stuff as the characters learn stuff. So when the characters get more information about how the dungeon works, about monsters, about the world in general, about another character, we also do it. So this story never feels stale, and they never have to stop the story from progressing just to explain what's happening for us, because the characters also need to understand what's happening. Probably because most of them are morons, but hey, that just makes it more fun. And on that note, the characters are morons, but they're also extremely lovable and extremely rounded. As I've stated before, they all feel like real characters, and they don't go after the classic fantasy trope of, oh, here's an elf who thinks they're better than everyone, and this is a dwarf who drinks a lot of beer. I don't know. All of the characters feel like real characters, and they have multiple sides. They don't fulfill just one niche. So okay, when the story has good characters. Most animes have good characters. Yeah, well, the stuff I'm mostly interested about, and the stuff I love the most about the anime, is and was definitely the dungeon itself and all the biology in it. Because at first, dungeons usually are just, oh, this is magic, and we throw in monsters because we need cool monsters to fight. And yeah, this was different because everything felt like an ecosystem, and it was a real treat actually getting to learn about all of this. The show really tries to explain the dungeon in a scientific and logical way. They often delve into the anatomy of different creatures, the ecology of the dungeon itself, and I find it just incredible, honestly. I'm a nerd, I'm a biology nerd, I can't lie, and this really just is amazing to see, and I really find it enjoyable. Let's take treasure bugs as an example because I really like the concept of these creatures. They're small bugs who are swarm creatures, and they camouflage themselves as coins or pearls to try and entice and lure treasure seekers to them, for them to later attack and of course eat. Mimics, on the other hand, and I'm not talking about the free rent type, are giant crab-like monsters who lie in wait in chests to try and lure adventurers. You know how mimics usually works in Dungeons and Dragons. An adventurer goes to a chest and whoop, it's a monster inside of it. That's basically what this is, but it's a crab. But there's more to both of these creatures, because the anime does this really cool thing where they try and connect the life cycles of these two creatures. You might expect the bigger mimic to eat the treasure bugs, but no, treasure bugs are actually the predators. They infiltrate the chest of the mimics and lay their eggs in it. This makes it so when the eggs eventually hatch, they'll feed on the mimic and grow inside, leading to the chest being filled with fake gold. This is a genius explanation to why there's fake gold in chests, and really just fleshes out the dungeon and makes it feel more alive. And the crazy thing is that the whole anime is filled with examples just like this. As early as episode 3 we meet the living armor. Every fantasy story often has this trope of the living armor. They're often just cursed or chucked up to being magic. Our party first believes this too, until they discover that the armors are filled with actual creatures. They're filled with snail-like creatures who act and try to replicate the muscles of humans. So when they flex, the armor moves. This is just very interesting, but we also get to learn more about these creatures. We get their motivations for why they always guard specific places, which is a trope for living armor. And the reason for why they do this is to protect the next generation. They try to protect the egg clutchers they lay. And this just, it's first super believable and a super interesting take of honestly an overdone simple monster. And it's these small yet super noticeable details that make this world feel so incredibly alive and interesting. The way Senshi describes different meals makes me almost taste them. I mean, it's incredible. Now, the anime might not be as scientific as something like Dr. Stone, but it manages to scratch that itch that many have of trying to make the illogical stuff seem logical. And I, for one, just really love it. So if you like fantasy, if you like food, if you like interesting world building, if you like interesting characters, I mean, if you like anime in general, even if you don't like anime, just give this anime a try, because holy damn, it's amazing. I love it, and I'm super hyped for season 2. I've been thinking about picking up the manga. I think I'll wait though, just so I can enjoy the season 2 first. I like watching anime more than reading manga. But that's been all for me. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like. I'm still really new to YouTube, so if you have any tips, any tricks, please tell me. And psst, please subscribe. At the making of this video, I have a total of 0 subscribers. So if you subscribe, you'll be my first subscriber. I mean, that's pretty dope. So come on, man. But thank you for watching.